Radio check, we should be live. I think we're live. Hello, thank you everyone for tuning in. Welcome along to the coverage here. I think I am live because, yeah, I've just got a notification that I've gone live on my phone. Fantastic. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to the Formula 1 Grand Prix here in Interlagos, round number 21 of 24 on the Formula 1 calendar. And yeah, welcome along. Alright, we're going to have quite the exciting weekend today. Of course, it's a sprint weekend here in Brazil, so we have got sprint qualifying in 4 hours and 30 minutes time. W haircut, thank you very much. Yeah, I did quite like the haircut actually, so it's good. Rain, no folks, the rain actually, we'll have a quick talk about the rain, but as of today, there is no rain. I'll quickly pop up the weather forecast. You can see here, the forecast for tomorrow, you can see quite the big chance of rain, but today it looks to be dry, 29 degrees Celsius in Interlagos today. And if you look at last year, you could see the air temperature was 27 degrees or 26 degrees. So it's going to be a little bit hotter than last year. And in fact, last year during FP1, we had I think the highest temperatures recorded for the entire season last year. We had track temperatures going up to 59 degrees Celsius. That's how hot it was in Interlagos last year, and we might be getting some more of that. It doesn't look to be particularly cloudy, so the sun will be baking the asphalt, and well, it's going to be a very, very big challenge for all of the drivers, all of the engineers, because they're only going to have one free practice session to set up their car where the temperatures are going to be vastly different to what it's going to be on Saturday and vastly different to what it's going to be on Sunday. So yeah, rain forecast for Saturday, rain forecast for Sunday. It may still just be light rain, but regardless, the temperatures, currently it might be 50 degrees, tomorrow it might be 30, huge difference. So we'll see how that goes. Also, we have got breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Franco Colapinto has been signed to drive for the Alpine team in 2026. So he'll be driving alongside Pierre Gasly, which is going to be quite the driver combination. Of course, Colapinto yet this year to score any points whatsoever, and we'll see if that changes next year. But he's been all right compared to Pierre Gasly. Not amazing, really. Definitely on certain occasions, he's just been so far back. But no, Gasly's been doing a solid job, and a little bit unfair to compare Gasly to Colapinto. Right. Will Bortoleto show something this race weekend? Of course, yes, it is Bortoleto's home race here in Brazil. There's going to be a lot of fans here cheering him on. Of course, Brazil is very involved in the world of Formula 1 since Ayrton Senna, since Felipe Massa, and now Gabriel Bortoleto. So we'll see how that goes for him. It'll be his first home Grand Prix, and yeah, of course, there's always a little bit of added pressure at your home Grand Prix. I think Guan Yu Zhou, his first home Grand Prix, didn't do so well. Some drivers do, some drivers excel under the pressure, and yeah, we'll see how that goes for Bortoleto. But he's been having quite a good season, to be honest. He's been doing quite good against Hulkenberg, and his quali performances and race performances have been pretty solid as well. Is it ORF this weekend? It is ORF, folks. It is ORF from Austria. The Vienna servers are going to be used this weekend. Okay. That's the usual crazy weather in Interlagos. Yeah, that is correct, Maria. No, in Interlagos, it's actually so difficult to predict the weather. Like, it's actually a little bit frustrating, to be honest. You check a few different sources. You check BBC News. You check some other, accurate weather websites, and they all sort of change in between their percentages of rain, percentages of temperature. They're all sort of off, and it's a little bit difficult to sort of know what is going to be the actual weather in Brazil. So I guess we'll find out what happens on the day. Right, is Carlos in FP1 today? I think he should be fine. I haven't really seen anything about Carlos missing FP1. I will double check, of course, but I think Carlos should be fine to drive. He might be a little bit heartbroken, of course, after Charles Leclerc has got engaged. So yeah, Carlos Sainz very, very heartbroken indeed. But I think he'll be able to manage and move on with his season. Okay. Want Bortoletto and Stroll to show some Senna skills in the rain. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes for Stroll. Of course, if you guys remember back to last year, Lance Stroll crashed on the formation lap, which of course was not ideal to say the least, and he of course delayed the race, and it was a big old mess, to be honest, on the formation lap because of Stroll's crash. Why is Perez in second Red Bull car? Folks, it does say here the 2025 data will be loading shortly. Currently, we have got the 2024 data. This is sort of how it always goes. In the Free Practice 1 stream, I just have the 2024 data up so I can set everything up and make sure everything's the correct size. And then we'll have the relevant data coming up in... yeah. Why is Carlos missing FP1? I don't know why folks are spamming. Why is Carlos missing FP1? I have not seen anything about that. So I'll have a quick look. Is there anything? Who knows? All right. Yeah, so what have we got to talk about? Of course, the Drivers' Championship. That is what everyone is talking about, what's everyone thinking about. And let's get the driver standings up then. As you can see, we have got Lando Norris, who is now in the lead of the championship. It has been a very, very long time since Lando Norris has been leading the championship, and he is there in first position, 1 point ahead of Oscar Piastri. 357 points for Lando Norris, 356 points for Oscar Piastri, and 321 points for Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is 36 points back from Lando Norris, and he has got he's got one less race win, 5 less podiums, but just an awful lot of consistency there from Max Verstappen. So should be good there from Max, of course. I would say this is one of Max's best circuits. In fact, I don't know about you guys, but folks, can you do you have any opinions on which circuit is Max's best circuit? I've got to probably put Interlagos up there, but let me know what you think. What do you think? What's the grey line? The grey line is the pit lane, folks, the pit lane. So where the drivers will enter the pit lane here, and then they get to cut the corner a little bit, shorten the track ever so slightly when they drive through the pit lane, and that is what this grey line is. So if they're on the red line and the yellow line, then they're driving on the normal circuit. If they're on the grey line, they're coming in or out of the pits. Spa's probably pretty good for Max as well. I think even Mexico City, he's got so many wins there, and every time he has won there, it's been by a huge margin. So maybe maybe Mexico City also one of his better circuits. But honestly, the drive that he had last year was just absolutely incredible. I think 17 fastest laps, started in 17th position and finished the race 17 seconds ahead of second place. Just pure domination from Max, and well, he'll be looking to repeat that again. Now, that's of course very subject to the weather, and the other thing to take into account here, folks, is because the weather forecast does indicate that it's going to be raining tomorrow, and it's going to be raining most likely during the sprint race as well, and also maybe during qualifying tomorrow. So what that means is the teams will have to make a little bit of a choice. Do they want to go for a wet-oriented setup, which would put them in great condition for the sprint race, but then of course compromise their qualifying performance? So it's a bit of a tough one for the engineers to figure out, and which choice is going to be the quicker choice overall, which one's going to get you more points. It will be a balancing act, and we'll see what they can do. But yeah, that again will be another problem for Sunday as well. Of course, the teams can change their setups in between the end of the sprint race and the start of qualifying. If they know that 100% of the chance it's going to rain on Sunday, then they can modify their setup and say, oh, we're going to go for a wet setup. But you never really know around here in Interlagos. It's so unpredictable, and even the meteorologists haven't got a clue. Well, they've got a vague clue, but not the biggest clue in the world. It's always subject to change, and yeah. All right. Has Aston Martin disabled Stroll's reverse gear? We'll see if Stroll has some issues. But to be fair, it wasn't just Stroll. Stroll, of course, crashed on the formation lap, but during qualifying as well. Last year in Brazil, I think we had 5 red flags, maybe, if I remember correctly, 5 red flags during the qualifying session. We had, I think, Colapinto crashed, Sainz crashed. Alonso, did he crash as well? And yeah, we did have quite a few people crash actually. So I think the pit stop lost time around here is 19 seconds to 20 seconds, but I will get you a confirmed number for the race on Sunday. Right. Okay, 20 minutes now from the start of the free practice session here, folks. We've got 1,000 people tuning into live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. And if you are not subscribed, be sure to do so. Kirk Winters, thanks for the $2 donation. What will Karen Russell whinge about this weekend? Well, you know, it's not really Russell that's the only driver that complains. A lot of drivers do complain. They're quite good at it, actually. They'll complain as much as they want if it means that their opponents get a penalty. And we'll see what Russell complains about. Maybe he'll be going head-to-head with Max Verstappen this weekend. Because, well, around here in Interlagos, you don't really get that much of a benefit to running all over the curbs. There are certain corners where driving over the curbs will be beneficial, but in fact I shall take you through a flying lap of the circuit. Let me just get up the Brazil lap. I didn't actually... Where is the lap of Brazil? There we go. All right. It's probably just going to play on top of my face, but I think that's all right for now. Let's... Yeah. I'll take you through... Oh no, my face is blocking it. There we go. Oh no, wrong one. Right. So, the lap of Brazil. You come out of the final corner. Very, very important to just get a very nice run down this back straight. Super duper long. You've also got a very long DRS zone as we're really good chance to overtake and slipstream in towards turn number 1. Only 2 DRS zones here in Interlagos, and you've also got 2 DRS points as well, 2 DRS detection points. You go through the center S. The main thing here is really to get a slingshot out through turn number 3, because then again you've got another DRS zone and you're flat for quite a few seconds in a row, and super duper late on the brakes. We've seen some very questionable racing lines here at turn number 4 before in the past, when drivers are defending, just pushing everyone off into pretty much a different country at this point. You know, that's how wide the drivers go on the exit at turn number 4 when they're battling. So we'll see if the FIA clamps down on that. Of course, we did have quite the controversy with penalties getting dished out in Mexico, and well, we can hope for more consistency from the FIA, but it can never really be guaranteed. Mal, $2 donation. They make fun of Russell but never argue his facts. No, Russell's a very, very quick driver indeed. We've got to say, Mr. Saturday is pretty fantastic, and yeah, he's been doing brilliantly this season, to be honest. If you put him in a championship-winning car, or a car that's quick enough... Actually, what do you think would happen, folks, if Russell was going head-to-head with Lando Norris? Do you think it's an easy win for Lando Norris? Because Russell, I think, very capable driver. And I think in the earlier stages of their career, because I think they both started in 2019. Yeah, that's correct. Russell and Norris both started in 2019. But I think Russell should have stood out and shone a little bit more in the early stage of his career. And those special laps as well, I think Russell has been doing just a little bit more than Norris. I think Russell would beat Norris if it was a head-to-head, but, you know, let me know what you guys think. And I'll continue on through the lap of Interlagos. We head through towards turn number 6. This is a tap of the brakes, flick the car to the right, hope the rear end sticks. It's actually very, very tricky. You go sort of uphill a little bit, you go over a crest, and the rear goes a little bit light. We have seen drivers spin off there in the past, and of course, you do not want to be doing that in free practice 1. You only have 1 hour to practice, and then your engineers have got 2 hours to get the car ready for the sprint quali. So you don't want to have a major crash, and if you crash at turn 6, it will be a major crash because you're going it through there at about 150 miles per hour. Then onto the brakes for turn number 8. This is very much the slow, tight, twisty part of the Interlagos circuit. You're really smooth on the power here. Short shifting as well, a lot of short shifting to make sure you don't get too much wheel spin. and then you make your way through turn number 11, which is easy flat. In dry conditions, in wet conditions though, you've sort of got to hold on. You put your foot down, hang in there, try and hold it flat. But there are rivers that form along this part of the circuit. There's a lot of elevation change. Oh, we've just switched back to Mexico. Let me change that. There we go. There's a lot of elevation change that you get here in Interlagos, which means that the rain that falls at the top of the hill starts flowing downwards in very much a sort of a river pattern. It looks like a river, and if you cross over a river while you're on the limit of grip, you're going to crash. I think Alonso actually crashed at that same corner. I got a huge snap of oversteer during quali here last year. So catches out even the most experienced of drivers, so you do have to be careful when you are going around this circuit. And then, of course, you've got the final real corner, turn number 12, where you need to get a very nice exit. And you can compromise your entry entirely and just focus all on the exit. Hug the inside line for turns number 14. And then across the line you go for a flying lap of Interlagos. The quickest lap that we've got, actually, around this circuit was set in 2018 by Lewis Hamilton on those hyper soft tyres, back when Pirelli still called them that. And yeah, haven't had that lap record been beaten since. So maybe this year it'll happen, but of course we'll need dry conditions for that to take place. Why is the pit lane so long? Well, folks, the pit lane is just long because of the layout of the circuit. However, the drivers are not driving at the pit lane speed limit for the entire duration. So just to give you a vague idea, the drivers come through here and they hit the brakes. The pit lane speed limit starts around about this point here, just on the opposite side of turn number 7. And then you go through the pit lane, and around about this point here where the DRS zone ends, that is where the pit lane speed limit ends. And then through here, you can drive as quickly as you want. So it's just the layout of the circuit that makes it optimal, because ideally you don't want the pit lane going directly in towards turn number 1. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You're going to get quite a few crashes and things like that. So they've sort of spread it out, and it happens down the main straight or down the second straight of the circuit. So yeah, not too much of a concern in terms of pit stop loss time, because more than half of the pit lane is not at the pit lane speed limit. Also, anyone that didn't sort of find out, Carlos Sainz, back in Mexico, did get quite a few penalties for exceeding the pit lane speed limit. And that was because of his speedometer, essentially. His speedometer was not working. And yeah, that's why he would go into the pits, try to slow down to 80 kilometers per hour, but because the speedo was broken, he would go quicker, and that's why he got the penalty. So that's what it is. Yeah, bit unfortunate there for Carlos Sainz, but we'll see how it goes for him this weekend. Is this Hamilton's last year in Formula 1? No, he does have a contract next year with Ferrari in 2026, so I suspect he will be taking part next year as well. However, it may not continue on after that. Oh, there we go. It may not carry on much longer than that, because there are a little bit of rumours here and there that Behrman will be taking part for Ferrari in 2027, but that is very much up in the air, and we'll see how Hamilton performs in 26. That's what's going to decide it. Yeah. What country do you want to connect to the VPN from? Yeah, so you want to join the Austrian VPN server, and you want to join ORF on if you Google ORF Formula 1, then you'll be able to watch the Formula 1 coverage. And just talking of Austria, actually, we have got one of our viewers from the channel has sent me an email, and they are basically doing a master's thesis about Formula 1 and like how all the sponsorship works in the world of Formula 1, what's good for sponsorships and stuff like that. And essentially, they'd just like to help a little bit to answer a survey. There's a link in the description to a survey, and if you guys would like to help out this person do their master's thesis, it would very much be appreciated if you could fill out the survey. Won't take too long, and you'll definitely get it done in before the start of Free Practice 1. But of course, it's up to you, and you don't have to give any of your personal details away if you would not like to. So there's that. Right. Kirk Winters, thanks for the $2 donation. Great channel. Thanks for the excellent work. Very much is appreciated, folks. All right. Thanks, buddy. Suggestion, let's hope we see a wet race lap around Brazil in the channel. Yes, of course, if the forecast does look like it's going to rain tomorrow, I will probably get my Xbox controller out and do a lap in wet conditions, record that and add that onto the stream as well. But yeah, I already know all of the sort of the intricate details of, well, I hope I know the intricate details of all of the wet patches of around the circuit, so I'll point that out even if I don't have a wet lap recorded. Do any of you enjoy the circuit, or do you think it's outdated? No, I think Interlagos is one of the best circuits that we've got on the calendar, really. There's always so much action. Of course, it's towards the end of the season, which makes it all that more exciting, but it's been on the calendar for so many years, so many historic moments through here. We've had Seb Vettel's charge through the pack in 2012. We had, of course, the Is That Glock in 2008. We had Kimi Räikkönen win in 2007 by 1 point. It's been quite... Yeah, it's been the host of some amazing Formula 1 Grand Prix, and I would say it's definitely up there in terms of racing circuits. Okay. Hi, Fun Gamer, what is your poll prediction? That's a tough one, isn't it? You'd have to wait till free practice 1 finishes. Once FP1's done, I'll give you my predictions. Now it's just a little bit too early on. Right. Yeah. Any questions, folks? Anything that you would like me to answer? Do let me know in the chat. I'll do my best to answer everything as possible. Everything as much as I can. Does anyone know the times for qualifying? It says right at the top of the screen there. Oh, it's done the zoom in thing again. 4 hours and 9 minutes. That's when sprint qualifying shall begin. Right, we'll also be getting the 2025 data coming through. Let's see. Here we go. We do have the 2025 data. All right. Qualifying mode. Fantastic. Let's get rid of that. And let's also... get rid of that. Brilliant. All right. 2025 data is here. Weather forecast for Saturday and Sunday. As you can see there, we have got rain forecast for Saturday, rain forecast for Sunday. The rain is expected not to be too heavy. It does say thundery showers, so it means, you know, it's going to rain really hard for about 10 minutes and then it's going to stop raining and then maybe rain really hard in another half an hour or something. And in terms of the rain on Sunday, it's most likely to be a little drizzle, so it's not going to be the most sort of intense rain in the world, but it'll be most likely intermediate conditions, and hopefully also it's not going to be that intense that the FIA cancel the session. That is what I want to see. I don't want to see the session cancelled, really, yeah. Is FP1 there on RF? Indeed it is, and I appreciate it if you don't spam. Are there gravel traps on the corners? There are gravel traps, folks. The FIA have added quite a few gravel traps here and there. And the other thing here in Interlagos is there is grass, and you can't really cut the corner like you did in Mexico. So just as an example here, in fact, I'll show you the flying lap, actually. Where is the flying lap? There we go. Okay, so if we go in towards turn number 1, you can't really cut the corner here. You can cut the corner of turn 2. You can just go straight across there, but this surface there on the right hand side, if you cut that corner, you dirty your tires up so much, you just end up losing loads of time. And then again, on the inside, you can't cut the corner there on the inside because there's astroturf and there's grass and there's just not enough grip, because once you rejoin the circuit again, you're just going to be so much slower because your tires are all dirty. So you could cut the corner, but nobody really does because it's slower. Whereas in Mexico, of course, we did see a lot of corner cutting at turn number 1 because, well, you can sort of gain a bit of lap time, maybe hang on to a position that you shouldn't have hung on to, and yeah. You in England? Yes, I am from the UK. Yeah. Will we see a big switch in some of the championship contenders because of the changes in the 2026 season? Indeed we will. I am predicting that Williams and Aston Martin are going to be up there, but who knows really? Like, it's anybody's game. If someone gets a little trick with the regulations that, start of free practice 1 will be delayed. What? Why has the start of free practice 1, why has it been delayed? I've just got a message here from Race Control. That is very, very strange indeed. I shall try and figure out why it's been delayed. If anyone knows in the chat why it's been delayed, then be sure to let me know. But they also haven't said how long it will be delayed for. Right. I mean, we'll see. Is there a singular raindrop? I mean, it's cloudy out in Interlagos by the looks of the helicopter camera, but I don't think there's anywhere near enough rain to delay the session. Yeah, it says the right date. It's the 7th of November. Yeah. It was sent 3 minutes ago. Must be the water. Oh no, we'll figure it out. If it isn't delayed, of course, it'll start in 5 minutes' time. If it is, maybe, an extra 5 minutes or so. Yo, man, when did you get the camera? Been here for a while since viewing the channel. This is dope. Started in the Singapore Grand Prix. Yeah, Singapore is when I did the face reveal when we hit 200k. It was quite the nice face reveal, actually. A lot of people said nice things, and I think it's been, nice to see my face. I will, of course, make it smaller once the session gets underway. I'll pop myself up there, but for now, it's gonna be down here since there's no team radios coming through. All right. Maybe there's a manhole cover, a drain cover. Don't know if they have them there. Yeah, that's another thing. They do need to be properly welded down and make sure that they don't just come off and hit the cars, essentially. You don't want that happening. It ends up with quite a big fine for the track organisers, and the track has to pay this huge fine. They've got to pay this huge bill to the Formula 1 teams as well to sort of help pay for spare parts and things like that. So, yeah. All right. Correct, as we saw in Vegas in 23. Yes, very, very true indeed. All right, air temperature is in fact a lot lower. See, this is the thing, folks. This weather forecast, you can see there at the top left, the weather forecast, I got it, 4 hours ago? 4 hours ago is when I set up the stream, and it was saying the forecast is going to be 29 degrees Celsius, or it feels like 29 degrees Celsius, and then it's got the number 19 below it, and now we've got air temperatures of 19 degrees. So the forecast so hugely wrong, and we can see loads of clouds here in Interlagos. The forecast says today was going to be totally sunny. So essentially, yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful about this forecast here in Interlagos. It's never the most accurate thing in the world, and we're going to have vastly different track temperatures to what we had last year. Last year, we went up to 59 degrees Celsius track temperature. Today, we're starting off at 35 degrees Celsius. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and yeah, 2 minutes now, and it still says the start of FP1 will be delayed. Let's find out why. I don't know. I'm getting up the official broadcast, and the official broadcast has got nothing. Maybe the cars are just going to come out onto the track, and it's a glitch from race control, but haven't actually seen that happen before. That being said, the FIA isn't always the best with its data systems, as we've seen on the past streams. Okay, also let's run through the Constructors Championship. Here we go, let me get rid of the weather, and we have got the Constructors here. So as you can see, oh my goodness me, McLaren, 713 points from them. They've got 30 podiums this season, 13 wins. Just, well, incredible how quick they are. Still, Max Verstappen somehow managing to keep the championship fight alive. We've got Ferrari there in second position, 356 points. They are 1 point ahead of Mercedes, and it's quite a bit of prize money, actually. I think it is approximately on the order of 10 million euros, if I remember correctly, between second and third place. So Of course, Ferrari and Mercedes not short for cash, but an extra 10 million is still an extra 10 million, and we'll see who. Okay, the session's been delayed 5 minutes, folks. So let me just update the timer. But we have a 5-minute delay to FP1, so there we go. All right, 5 minutes and 45 seconds, and we'll be live. And yeah, so of course for Ferrari, Mercedes, we're looking to get those points off each other. Of course, Max is also close to the battle if he is going to try for a championship fight. Then he's also going to try and gain some more points, which will help Red Bull in the constructors. Tsunoda's also been doing all right, which is a step in the right direction, and hopefully he can score some points as well. He hasn't done the most for Red Bull this season, but Red Bull also haven't designed the best car in the world, have they? Why is there a delay? Absolutely no idea, but it's not for rain, I can tell you that one. And yeah, we'll still get the full hour though. Not too much of an issue, but yeah, 1 full hour of practice regardless. Okay. Seb to Lewis, do you know what they told me when I lost my brakes? Lewis, don't go the corner, stop the car. Yeah, Seb Vettel had that one, and interesting from Ferrari. I was actually thinking for Halloween I could, dress up as a Ferrari engineer. I haven't got a Ferrari, what's it called? T-shirt, but I think that would be a pretty good Halloween outfit. Very scary, of course, a Ferrari strategist. Who has been your favourite rookie of the season? I would probably say... it changes every time, but Bortoletto's been doing great. So's Hadjar. Antonelli's had his good performances. Behrman, of course, got his 4th place out in Mexico City. So they've all really stood out. They've all at least had one standout performance, I would say, apart from maybe Colapinto. So it's a tough one, isn't it? I'd probably still go with Hadjar just for his consistency, really. He's been pretty consistently better than Lawson, pretty consistently quick, and of course he got his podium as well. But that's not to say that Bortoletto is slow or Antonelli is slow. It's been a pretty good season for all the rookies, to be honest. 2019 was a pretty good season for the rookies that joined Formula One, and I'd say 6 years later in 2025 we would also have a great batch of rookies graduating their way up into Formula One. And I suspect we're not going to see most of these rookies, drop out after a year or two. I think they're here to stay. And yeah, the next generation of Formula One, shall we say. Brilliant. Just finished the survey. Fantastic, Leslie. Very much is appreciated, folks. If you guys do have time, we are 3 minutes away from the start of Free Practice 1. There is a survey. There's a link in the description to a survey. It's going to help out someone that's doing their master's thesis on Formula One sponsorships and stuff like that. So it would be a big help if you guys could fill that survey out. It's probably only going to take 3 or 4 minutes max. And helps out someone doing their master's degree. Is it raining in Interlagos? No, it is not, but it is cloudy. All right, we're getting some team radio messages coming through, so it looks like I'm just going to switch my webcam over to there, and let's get rid of that. All right, so you can still see me, but yeah, it's not really an ideal situation. I would like to make my face a little bit bigger, but oh well. It's not the end of the world. I think the main focus of the stream, of course, is the data and the lap times. And we'll see if the lap record does get broken. Lewis Hamilton still hanging on to it from 2018 in that Mercedes, the Silver Arrow. And it was quite the machine there back in 2018 on those hypersofts around Interlagos. Hamilton put together a really, really good lap, beat Seb Vettel to pole, and of course has held the lap record ever since. Nearly 8 years now that he's held that lap record. The delay was for cleaning up the track. Okay, well, there we go, folks. Thanks for the information, Kralido. But yeah, that's what the delay was. It was for cleaning up the track, which makes sense. They didn't want too much debris on the circuit. Of course, there will be some dust and dirt and stuff like that here and there. And the car's pretty good at cleaning that up, but you don't want major pieces of, leaves or debris on the circuit. So they delayed it just to ensure everything was clean for all the cars. Can you put the 2024 pole time up as well? I shall put that up. However, of course, 2024, we did have wet conditions in the qualifying session, so it's going to be vastly different to the pole times that we'll get this year. So I'll probably go back to the last pole time that was in the dry, so we get something sort of representative. But as you can see, folks, we're getting cars coming out onto the circuit just above me there. Oh, there we go. It's just zoomed in again. And 40 seconds now till we get underway for free practice 1. Let's get rid of this countdown timer. Oh, also the right-hand side of the team radios aren't working. Let me just fix that one. Brilliant. All right. Vinny, thanks for the question. Are there any one-time rookies standing in for FP1 just like Mexico? Not this weekend, because it is a sprint weekend. We've only got 1 hour for the drivers to practice, and because of that, they will not be giving up their seat to a rookie driver because, well, they need to get in the car. They need the proper setup for sprint qualifying that is happening in 3 hours and 55 minutes time. Okay, 10 seconds now till the pit lane is open. In fact, no, there we go. Kimi Antonelli, first driver out onto the track. Then we've got George Russell behind him, starting out on a set of hard tyres, ladies and gentlemen. Hard tyres for the Mercedes crew, and they'll be making their way out onto the circuit. Well, as we speak. Interlagos always delivers wet or dry. That is very correct. All right, Antonelli out onto the track. So's Lawson, so's Norris. Looks like most drivers are coming out on hard tyres here. We do have quite the tough situation with sprint weekends. Of course, sometimes it's pretty difficult to actually have enough tyres to go around for every single session. Of course, you'll have the sprint quali sessions, then the sprint race, then you'll have, of course, normal quali and the normal race. So this weekend, the number of tyres the teams have got, Williams... not Williams, just every single team, they have got 8 sets of softs, 3 sets of mediums, and 2 sets of hard tyres. So if they're probably what they're going to do is use 1 set of hard tyres now during FP1 and get some valuable data on them, figure out if they're quick enough or not. If they're quick enough, then the medium tyres aren't going to be that interesting for the teams to look into. If they are particularly slow, then of course the teams will look towards the medium tyres to try and find some more pace. And the soft tyres, for the most part, will be just used for quali and sprint quali. Okay. Hey F1 Gamer, how are you doing? Always love your stream and commentary. Keep it going, buddy. Thank you very much, Ishan. I'm doing well. Just sort of chugging along, really. University has begun, so I've got university work to do, and then yeah, I've got a stream on the weekend. Pretty standard stuff. So looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to the stream. And yeah, how are you guys doing? Hope you're all doing well. Not too much stress or anything like that. And yeah, don't know where I was going with that one, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, drivers all out onto the circuit now. We will be seeing a lot of track evolution, a lot of lap times falling. We're still yet to get the first lap time up on the screen. In fact, Kimi Antonelli will be doing that. He's just making his way through towards turn number 12. Now super duper late on the brakes to start out the weekend, and then he's got Piastri, Norris behind him, all on flying laps as well. But Antonelli clearly not pushing too hard. A 21 in the first sector and a 42-second second sector, which is 6 seconds off the pace. But, oh, yellow flag already. What's that? Oh, no, it's gone away. Okay. Momentary yellow flag. We quite often do get crashes around here. Another thing here around Interlagos, the circuit is quite short. It is only a 1-minute 7 lap time when the drivers are in dry conditions, full qualifying mode, which means that warming up your tyres is also a little bit difficult, especially if you're on hards. So we may see some drivers go for double warm-up laps to ensure that their tyres are at the correct temperature, because essentially you can see here the way that it works is, if you look at the track map, they have got this super duper long straight from where Hadjar is all the way to where Norris is, which is totally flat out. Not many significant corners that are keeping your tyre temperature up. So the drivers, they'll come out the pits, they'll have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners maybe to warm up their tyres and then go out on a quali lap. That is pretty rough, to be honest, in terms of keeping your tyres up in temperature. And out of those 6 corners, 3 of them are slow corners, which makes it even harder. So what happens is that we may see double warm-up laps where the drivers will do the out lap, then do another warm-up lap, weave left and right down all the straights to ensure more temperature, and then start their final flying lap. So keep an eye out for that one. But currently we're doing lap times around the 1:12s. Fernando Alonso's out on top, which is good to see as always. 38 milliseconds clear of Lando Norris. Quickest through the speed traps is Lance Stroll, 328 kilometers per hour. In fact, Aston Martins were quickest through the speed traps last year as well in free practice 1. So seems like their setup for Interlagos is a lot slipperier in a straight line. Oscar Piastri, however, purple sector 1, purple sector 2. Let's see if he can put the lap together. Across the line he goes, and he does. And he goes half a second clear of his teammate Lando Norris. Good start to the weekend. And yeah, let's see how it goes for Oscar Piastri. There's a lot of bouncing back to do from him, really. It's not been the best string of races for him since the second half of the season, really. Baku was pretty bad, and since then, nothing has really gone his way. So yes, it would be good to see Piastri bounce back. It would be good to see him back on the podium. But for that to happen, he's got to stay ahead of Norris. He's got to stay ahead of Max. And he has got to, well, put up a good fight. He's put the correct foot forward. But of course, we're only 5 minutes into the practice session, so let's not pay attention to this too much. Verstappen up across the line into 7th position there. Not the quickest lap that we've seen so far, but of course, we don't know the fuel loads. Is rain expected? Rain is expected, and yeah, it is. Yeah, it's expected, but we just don't know how heavy it's going to be or when it's going to fall, because the forecast is very, very inaccurate in Interlagos. Okay, the tyres that we've got this weekend, the C4 are the soft tyres, the mediums are the C3s, and the hards are the C2s. So those are the compounds that the teams are using this weekend. No skip in tyre compounds from Pirelli. We have got the exact same, we've sort of got a string of tyre compounds. We're not skipping anyone like we did in Mexico and in Cota. So we'll see how that affects the strategy, but a 2-stop around Brazil is very much possible with the amount of chaos that goes on. And yeah, and a reasonably short pit time length as well. Oh, yellow flag. What's that? Turn number 6. There's not. Oh, Tsunoda's going slowly at turn 5, actually. May have had a little spin there. But I don't know what happened there with Tsunoda, but he seems to be moving once again, so he should be okay. Alrighty. Stroll up into 5th position. Russell's on a purple first sector. Antonelli across the line, 6th position. Looking good, looking good. The Mercedes-powered cars are looking pretty solid, actually. Only, well, what have we got? Two Ferrari-powered cars in the top 10. And 3 non-Mercedes powered cars in the top 10. So Mercedes looking strong this weekend. Of course, track temperatures are reasonably low and air temperature is very much low, 20 degrees Celsius. Yeah, Tsunoda did have an issue, and I think he flat spotted his tyres quite significantly, actually. So that's why he is crawling back to the pit lane, and he may actually have to put on a different set of tyres, which would be quite catastrophic for his weekend, actually, because the teams only have 2 sets of hard tyres. That is it, which means that if he's flat spotted one set, he cannot use that in the race whatsoever. And yeah, then is he going to use a different set of soft tyres? Like, I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, he got over the curbs, then locked the. Oh, just a little bounce. Okay, so let's get a live action replay of what Yuki Tsunoda did. In fact, since there's not too much else going out on the circuit, so I'll make this ever so slightly smaller. Oh, look, I'm actually driving the Red Bull car for this weekend. So how convenient. So he was going in towards turn number 4 and hit the apex nicely, then mounted the curbs here. See, I've avoided the curbs, but you can see here the track is like flat. You go over the curbs. The curb is sort of going up a little bit, and then at the edge of the curbs it goes back down again. So if you are on the curbs at the wrong sort of position and your car sort of goes over this edge, goes over this, not cliff or anything, but like you sort of dip onto the other side, you lose a significant amount of grip. Your possibility to spin is a lot higher, and essentially that is what happened to Tsunoda. He got onto that side of the curb, spun around, and then narrowly avoided the barrier. Max Verstappen, fresh set of softs, and he goes up into second position, a 10th back from George Russell. Very nice to see. And Lando Norris, on his previous flying lap, goes quicker than Oscar Piastri. Piastri fails to improve on his second flying lap. Of course, still not too much to look into because... Oh, is Max on hards? Okay, never mind. I'll double check, but sometimes we do have issues in terms of these... Oh no, folks, Max Verstappen is out on hard tyres. The data is incorrect. We have had this happen in the past, but Max is out on he's out on hards. For whatever reason, it's showing soft tyre, but that lap time is with with hard tyres, and he is a 10th back from George Russell. So good signs there from Max Verstappen, able to keep up with the McLarens and ever so slightly quicker as well in the, first 10 minutes of FP1. So still not all that representative. Okay. Yeah, don't know what's going on with the FIA today, but clearly some sort of issues going on. Right. What tyre compounds have we got? We have got the C4 for the soft, C3 for the mediums, and C2 for the hards. Fernando Alonso up into 5th position, Carlos Sainz up into 4th. Really good job there from the Spaniards, 4th and 5th from them. Pierre Gasly, purple in the first sector, quickest through the speed trap as well. Must have got a little bit of a tow, and he makes his way into the middle sector now. Another thing to watch out for is that traffic will play a big role, especially at the start of Q1 or sprint qualifying one, and even in the practice sessions as well. The drivers, their lap times aren't going to be the most representative things in the world because traffic will have a big impact on their lap times. You can see here, Gasly was on a flying lap. He's had to abort, I think, because, just traffic got in his way, and, had to call it a day and try again a little bit later on. Okay. There we go. Max's thing is updated. It says he's on hard tyres again. Good. What are the little blocks here? This, in fact, just gives you a little bit more information on where the drivers are going. So you can see Gasly here purple at the start of Sector 1, which indicates that he was probably getting a tow down the first few sections of Sector 1, and that's why he's gone purple. That's why he's also got a high top speed. So that's essentially what this does. It sort of gives you a bit more of an idea of where the drivers are going quickly. You can see Verstappen here through this middle part of Sector 2, so probably got a really good launch off turn 4 and then carried a lot of speed through turns number 5 and 6, and that's why he's gone purple in that specific part of the circuit. Again, it's now glitched to say he's on soft tyres, so I really don't know what's going on there. But he is out on hards, and he is now coming through turns number 14. He's a little bit too far back from Piastri, really, to be getting a tow. Tiny, minuscule impact for sure, but he doesn't need a tow, really, because he still puts himself into second position, and he is a 10th clear of Norris. Piastri now back down into 8th position. I think he's about to start a flying lap now. Yes, he is, and we'll see what he can do on those hard tyres. Track improving very fast. Indeed it is, folks. Indeed it is. Typical around here in Interlagos. In fact, we had FP1 delayed for the start of the session because the track wasn't clean. And there's a lot of cleaning up still yet to do. We are only 13 minutes into the session. Yuki Tsunoda in the pits, he's dead last. Clearly some sort of issue with this car because, he's 3 seconds off the pace. And he did have, of course, his little spin on the exit of turn number 4, which doesn't help, of course, but still some more improvement to do for Tsunoda. And whatever issue that they have with this car right now, or maybe it's just refueling and putting on a different set of tyres, they've got to get that done ASAP because, given that he's made a mistake, he probably needs a little bit more practice and a little bit more time to get confident in the car. Oh, this is another thing here, folks. You can see Piastri purple in he goes up into second position, which is great there from him, but he was purple in the first half of Sector 2, but then in the second half was actually yellow. So that might indicate that he pushed really hard through sectors turns 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, held together a lot of speed, but then by the time he reached the slow parts of the circuit where you need the mechanical grip from the tyres, they had sort of started to overheat a little bit compared to his previous lap. Of course, his tyres are wearing out a little bit as well, which plays into it, but yes, going through turns number 8, 9, 10, he was a little bit down on time. So that's, again, do you start your flying lap with your tyres slightly slightly under temperature. So that means by the time you reach the slow corners of turn 7, 8, and 9, you have enough temperature to... Yeah, you have enough temperature, your tyres aren't overheating, and you can actually push a little bit. So it's a balance to be found. The McLaren engineers will be looking to find the most optimal temperatures to start your flying lap at, and Piastri will be looking to match those temperatures. George Russell purple in sector 1, 2, and 3. Russell could be coming in to spoil a championship battle. You know, we all thought it's going to be Piastri versus Verstappen versus Norris, but Russell is here and he's fighting pretty strongly. Charles Leclerc, in fact, just goes up into second position, but he's still 4 tenths off the back of George Russell. Russell is putting together some very nice laps indeed, and, well, we'll see if he can compete and if he can fight during the sprint race. Okay, and also, folks, yes, the blue lines that you can see here, that means the drivers are driving into the pit lane. Anyone that's coming out of the pits, you'll see that the whole of sector 1 is blue for them, or pretty much the whole of sector 1, and then anyone coming into the pits will have blue sectors in sector number 3. Okay. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right. 45 minutes to go of free practice 1. Won't be much overtaking in the race? Well, I think we will have quite a bit of overtaking, mainly because of the position of the DRS detection points. So what you can see here is, let me just bring up the track map for me on the screen. All right, Verstappen up into second position there. Nice job from him, purple in the final sector. But what you can see here is, normally what we get is a driver gets a tow from this DRS detection point. They get a tow and a slipstream, make the overtaking towards turn number 1. They get the overtake done. However, going in towards turn number 2, if you are the driver behind, if you're the driver that's just been overtaken, the DRS detection point is there at turn 2. You could be behind the driver, and what that would mean is then you would get the DRS and the slipstream going in towards turn number 4. You'd be able to fight them back into 4, potentially go side by side through 5 and 6, and then of course battle it out into the 7 and 8, and that's where you sort of have to go single file again. But the positioning of the DRS detection points is quite good around here, which should lead to some good racing. And we've had some fantastic races around here in the past. And I think in 2024 we did have a very big amount of overtakes as well. I'm sure most of them came from Max Verstappen, where he went from 17th position up into 1st. But there was so much chaos last year that we did obviously get a lot of overtakes as well. All right. Yes, Tsunoda still in the pits though. Whatever happened after that crash or after that spin, he had a little bit of contact with the barriers. It didn't seem like it needed much repairing, and he could continue on just fine. So, yeah, bit strange that Tsunoda's still in the pits, but we have got a few more drivers now coming into the pits. They've done their first runs. They've done a reasonable amount of flying laps on these hard tyres. They know sort of how they perform approximately, and they'll be now maybe trying out the mediums for a longer run during the race. The reason why Tsunoda is in the pits is they are repairing his car. Apparently when he spun, he damaged the rear and front left. Okay, fair enough. That makes sense then. He did have contact with a barrier. It didn't seem like the biggest contact, but of course, Formula 1 cars aren't the most robust things in the world. Pretty fragile, to say the least. Ferrari in free practice 1, fire emoji, Ferrari in the race, clown emoji. That's a pretty good summary, but they're 3rd and 4th right now. I'll quickly just run through the standings for anyone that's listening to this like a radio broadcast. We got Russell up in 1st position, 2 tenths clear of Max Verstappen. Then we've got another 2 tenth gap from Verstappen to Leclerc in 3rd position. Hamilton's in 4th, Piastri in 5th, Antonelli is in 6th, Sainz in 7th, Norris 8th, Hadjar 9th, Bortoletto 10th at his home Grand Prix. Alonso is 11th, Albon is 12th, Lawson 13th, Gasly 14th, Hulkenberg 15th, Ocon 16th, Stroll 17th, Behrman 18th, Colapinto 19th, and Yuki Tsunoda 20th. Okay. Hey, will you end the stream in between the sprint quali? And yes, I will end the stream. Actually, I do have to go have lunch. If I don't end the stream, I will be quite hungry by the time sprint quali starts. So, yeah. Okay, 4 drivers within a 15 millisecond gap. Indeed it is. It's very, very close between Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and Oscar Piastri. and Antonelli as well, sorry. Yes, for those 4 drivers, there's a very, very small gap. I don't think that's going to last long, though. Hamilton now coming across the line to start a flying lap. Charles Leclerc's already on a flying lap. And Hamilton, in fact, I think got a little toe. Oh, no, he didn't actually. Never mind. Didn't get a toe off Alex Albon. But we've got quite the big difference here in top speeds as well. You can see the quickest that we've seen is 321 kilometers per hour from someone. I forgot who that was, actually. Gasly across the line, 4th position for him. And going down the order, we can see there's a 7 kilometer per hour difference, 8 kilometers per hour difference now. Ferrari's quite slow in the speed trap. So are actually all of the Ferrari powered cars. You've got both Haas's, both Ferraris, and both Saubers. They are in the bottom 6 of the speed traps. So I'm not sure if the Ferrari engine is suffering from a little bit too much wear and tear towards the end of the season. Maybe it's practice and they're just not running it as hard, or maybe just for whatever reason, all 3 of the Ferrari powered teams are running a lot more downforce this weekend. But yeah, an interesting observation there, that all of the 6 Ferrari powered cars are slowest in the speed traps. Okay. Gasly is somehow up there in 4th position. I don't know how he is doing that one. Yeah. How in the world is he taking that Alpine up there? I have no clue. Alpine have scored, I think it's 19 points, 20 points this season, and they've all come from Pierre Gasly, because Jack Doohan hasn't scored any points, and neither has Colapinto. So it is just Pierre Gasly single-handedly carrying the Alpine team. Yes, 20 points scored for Pierre Gasly, and 20 points scored for the Alpine team. Of course, Alpine last weekend did get, not last weekend, last year, they got a double podium here, didn't they? It was Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly, 2nd and 3rd position behind Max Verstappen. Of course, everyone was talking about Max Verstappen's sensational drive, but those 2 podium finishes for Alpine resulted in 60 million extra euros of prize money for those 2 podiums. It was a very, very lucky and very lucky weekend for Alpine, I'd say. Of course, Gasly and Ocon drove very well, but they were in the right place at the right time, and an extra 60 million euros for one race. Quite mega. Gasly has had quite a few good races around here in Brazil. Of course, he had that drag race, didn't he? Was it, it was Gasly versus another car. I think maybe for 2nd place, was it? Or 3rd place on the Brazil podium, maybe 2019 or 2021? I can't remember. Can you guys remember? Was it, Gasly definitely had a drag race to the finish line, or was it a Red Bull car? Okay, it was Lewis. Okay, Lewis 2019 versus Gasly. Was it? Okay, but yeah, there was definitely a drag race going to the finish line with Pierre Gasly. And we've had quite the eventful finishes, haven't we? Good to, well, yeah, clearly my memory is fading a little bit, to be honest. It was for P2 in 2019 against Hamilton. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you very, very much. All right, we are reaching the mid FP1 session lull. Not too much going on, as is standard of free practice 1, really. Everyone has done their first set of runs. They're going to be analysing the data, changing a few more things on the setup to make sure it is to the driver's liking, and then they'll be looking to go again. But we haven't had too many drivers complain about the lack of grip, lack of performance. Max has been doing all right. The McLaren's all right as well, and Russell's been doing pretty solidly. Ferrari are up there in 4th and 6th position, so pretty good to see from them. And yeah, all teams looking pretty confident. I mean, we have come to Brazil so many times before. The teams know what the circuit's like. They know what sort of setup the drivers are expecting, and it's not too much of a concern. Right. Is there any rain expected through the weekend? Indeed there is. There's rain expected tomorrow, and there is also rain expected on Sunday. So we'll see what happens. The forecast is a little bit unpredictable. I'm only going to trust the forecast with 1 hour in advance, maybe 2 hours in advance. But apart from that, it's not the most accurate thing in the world. So I'll get an updated forecast for you tomorrow morning, and we'll go from there, really, in terms of the weather forecast. Yeah. what does the line through the tyre mean? So the line through the tyre means that the drivers came out with a used set of tyres here. So you can see that Carlos Sainz, he didn't have a line through his tyre, which meant that he started out the session, he came out on a set of hard tyres and did 14 laps on them and has now just gone straight back into the pits. Russell has got a slash through his tyres, which means that he went out, he did his 10 laps on his hard tyres, he came back into the pits, refueled, changed the setup, and now he's gone back out again. Wait, Gasly's just come over the radio saying the car feels so much more alive than it has in the past few months today for some reason. And, well, maybe we're going to get another surprise podium. Surprise podium for Pierre Gasly. That'll be good to see. The man has been putting in a lot of hard work and a lot of hours. I mean, you don't really see this sort of in the sort of front of Formula One, but in the behind the scenes, Gasly has been putting in a lot of hours into the 2026 car, trying to get it as quick as possible. Not too much focus on the 2025 car, of course, because Alpine sort of knew at the start of the season it was a bit of a lost cause and there's not too much point focusing on it. But for whatever reason around here, the stars have aligned and Pierre Gasly's quite liking his Alpine. It's looking reasonably quick. Yeah. Bit of deja vu, shall we say, from 2024. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, isn't it? LMR. Pit stop average last time, 20.8 seconds. Thanks for the info there, Leslie. How many laps have to go? The drivers can do as many laps as they want around here in free practice. No limit is enforced, so they can do, well, with 34 minutes left on the timer, you could probably do 27 laps or so. Yeah, 27, 30 laps. Can we watch this through a VPN? Indeed you can, folks. You can watch it through a VPN. You watch it via Surfshark VPN. So there's a link in the description for that. You join an Austrian VPN server and you go onto once you've connected, you just go onto Google and you search ORF Formula 1 and then you can watch the coverage. The commentary is in German, so I should point that out, but of course you can just mute it, listen to me instead, but still watch the cars go around the racetrack. Okay. F1 Gamer, can you see my super chat? Yeah, let me have a look if the super chat has come through. No, I haven't had a super chat come through, actually. Architia? Which country are you from? I'm from the UK, actually, yeah. Yeah, it's all right here in the UK. Not raining too much, but hopefully the rain can move away from the UK and it can move to Interlagos this weekend. 33 minutes remain of this free practice 1 session, and we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars out onto the racetrack. Can you watch the free practice coverage through the VPN? Indeed you can, folks. Indeed you can. And also I should point out, when you do join an Austrian VPN server, you just got to Google ORF. And the other thing that I did want to say is, folks, we have got someone has reached out to me. They're a member of the Formula One community here with the F1 Gamer channel, and they're doing a master's thesis about Formula One sponsorships and stuff like that, and they need a little bit of information about well, what you guys think about Formula One sponsors and things like that. So there's a link in the description to a survey, and if you could fill that survey out, it would very much help out this member of our channel, shall we say, and yeah, go ahead and check the link out. It'll probably take only 3 minutes or so, and it helps someone do their master's thesis, so yeah. All right, 30 minutes remain on the clock, and by the looks of it now, the teams are going to do their long runs. So they've done their short runs. They've done, do the qualifying laps with the DRS Open. Well, of course, not qualifying laps, but, they've done their flying laps with DRS Open. Their tyres have worn out about 13 laps now. The circuit is reasonably rubbered in, which now means that they are free to attack. They're free to just use whichever tyres that. Yeah, they're free to do a race run, essentially, because if they do a race run right at the start of the session, you can't actually work out your tyre wear properly, because the thing is, over the course of, let's say, 3 laps, 3 laps is going to take, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or something along those lines, and over those 3 minutes, you're going to actually get maybe 3/10 worth of track evolution, and the circuit's going to get quicker, but then your tyres get slower. So you can't actually work out, is the circuit getting quicker or my tyres getting slower? and you can't really figure that out properly. So for that reason, the teams do their shorter runs at the start with the hard tyres. Then in the middle, they'll do their longer runs when the track is sort of rubbered in, and they have a vague estimate on the track evolution. And then in the final 10 minutes or so, we'll get the soft tyres for the drivers to prepare themselves, get them in the rhythm for qualifying around here in Interlagos. And of course, the final thing in the final 15 or 10 minutes will be, of course, getting the warm-up procedure for the tyres correct on the outlaps. As I mentioned earlier, the drivers have only got about 7 laps or 7 corners worth to warm those tyres up when they do an outlap. They come out there just where Pierre Gasly is, just below me there on the screen, and they've got turn number 4, turn number 6, 8, 9, 10, and 12, and 11, maybe 11 and 12. So 6, 7 corners. Oh, I've just said it, haven't I? Anyway, they've got a 7 corners or so to warm up their tyres, and that's really not enough to get those tyres up to temperature, which means that they may do double warm-up laps. How easy is it to overtake? It's pretty easy to overtake, to be honest, around here. We've had so many overtakes here in the past, and with this super duper long DRS zone that we've got down the main straight, it is quite easy. Maybe some people will say a little bit too easy, depending if you have a top speed advantage on the person that you're overtaking. So for example, we can see that the Ferrari powered cars are quite slow down the straights this weekend. So if let's say you're Esteban Ocon and you're 320 kilometers per hour down the start finish straight, and you've got Pierre Gasly or Piastri behind you that are 10 kilometers per hour quicker, just without any sort of slipstream, you add on the DRS, you add on the slipstream, and you've got a 20 kilometer per hour difference. Along such a long straight, you sort of easily make that overtake. But if the drivers are sort of balanced in terms of top speed, it becomes quite a good battle. Hadjar over the radio, mate, is Piastri blind or something? What was that? Not ideal there from Piastri. I don't think he was that Piastri or was that Norris? Oh no, it was Piastri, but either way, not great. Lando Norris goes wide on a flying lap around. He goes wide at turn number 7. Not ideal there from him. That would, in fact, result in getting a lap time deleted as well, wouldn't it? There are track limits being monitored here in Interlagos, so I will point that out to you when I do another flying lap of the circuit. What is sector 1, 2, and 3? These are the mini sectors. It gives you just a little bit more detail on where the drivers are going quickly, where they're going slowly. But for the majority of it now, since the drivers are doing their long runs, you're going to be seeing a lot more yellow and not a lot of purple, to be honest. Piastri has just gone purple in the middle sector somehow, but clearly he's on a slightly different run plan because he is using DRS on his flying laps, whereas George Russell is not. Russell is now going 312 kilometers per hour through the speed traps, which is around 15 kilometers per hour slower than he normally would have with DRS open, and that is purely down to the fact that he's doing his race runs, and during the race runs the teams don't want DRS open. Piastri, however, not doing a race run, was doing a shorter run and up into third position, a 111.4. Good job there from him, and he's 0.3 ahead of his teammate. That's exactly where he needs to be, really. For the past couple of weekends, Norris has had the upper hand over Oscar Piastri, and, well, Piastri sort of falling backwards and backwards and backwards. However, he'll be looking to bounce back this weekend, and he started out quite strong. Right at the start of the session, he was quicker than Norris, and now we're halfway through, he's also quicker than Norris. So good to see, and of course, it doesn't really matter either way. There's only 1 point between the two drivers, so we've still got 4 races of battling between them. Rain in the sprint or sprint quali possible? No rain possible for the sprint quali. However, for the sprint tomorrow morning, I do think there will be rain. At least that's what the forecast indicates. But yeah, I will probably drop a message in the chat to sort of indicate, if it's going to be raining or not. Because right now, if I check the forecast, it's going to change till tomorrow morning. I can't see the session on Servers TV. The session is on ORF this weekend, folks. ORF, O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari. Oh, that's quite the lock-up there for Max Verstappen going in towards turn number 4. The rear sort of slid out from underneath him, maybe, I'm not sure, but goes wide and has to abort that lap there for Max. Not ideal, but is part of the learning process, of course. With the elevation change, of course, the drivers change their brake balances as well accordingly to make sure that, they're not locking up the fronts, or maybe they're not locking up the rears, and, maybe Max just forgot to change the brake balance. Okay. Random question, but if you could ask the member about how to find the right sponsor, did the survey, tell them it was interesting. Yeah, I will. I'll have a look. But finding sponsors, I mean, I'd love to find some sponsors, and yeah, it's quite a tough one. Haven't found a water bottle sponsor yet, but I also don't think that many people actually work for a water bottle company to sponsor me. So surely it's not that hard to work as a water bottle company. You make some plastic bottles, fill them up with some water, job done. Okay. Why is Norris struggling? I mean, folks, he's not really that far back, is he, from Piastri? A little bit early to say struggling. We'll see what he does at the end of sprint quali. But for now, he's looking all right. And the main thing is the race pace. And Piastri on the last lap, in fact, was 0.3 slower on race pace compared to Lando Norris. So on the standings, Norris isn't looking so good. But you look a little bit more into the details, and Norris had a pretty good lap on the last one, and he's 0.3, and Piastri's 0.3 slower. What happened to Yuki? Yuki is finally coming out. There we go, folks. He's out on soft tyres, which is, we'll double check if those are softs or not, because we had some issues there with Max earlier where it said he was on soft, but he was actually on hards. Either way, Tsunoda had a little crash at the start of free practice 1, damaged the rear of his car and also the front left of his car, and yeah, the Red Bull mechanics were repairing it. So he did lose approximately 20 minutes or so of running time, but he's now out on the soft tyres and we're looking to make that up. Also, Colapinto has been re-signed. Yes, he's been re-signed for Alpine in 2026. That is sort of the breaking news that came out about 5 minutes before the session started. So, good to see there from Franco Colapinto. And, well, I mean, is it good to see? I don't really know. Colapinto hasn't been performing that well, but we do say this every time Red Bull fires a rookie after half a season of them not delivering. We always say the rookie should be given a little bit more time. I think, Nicholas Latifi was given some time. Logan Sargent was also given some more time. And, at the end of the day, they didn't deliver. And 2 seasons later, they were no longer in Formula One. So I think a similar thing may happen with Colapinto. He's got the money to sort of keep him in Formula One for now, but of course money can only get you so far, and then you need some talent as well. And not to say Colapinto isn't talented, but he hasn't been delivering at the same level that Gasly has, and that's sort of what Alpine expect from him. So I think out of the rookies that have joined this year, I think the one that is most likely to leave Formula One first would probably be Colapinto. Achincha, thanks for joining the channel membership. Very much is appreciated. Yeah. Cheers for helping out the channel. All right. So, yeah. 23 minutes remain, folks. 23 minutes remain. And Tsunoda's the only driver out on soft. We'll be getting the soft tyre running probably in 10 to 15 minutes time. 10 to 15 minutes time seems about reasonable. Yeah. All right, I'm going to have some water, otherwise my throat is going to start hurting. Oh yes, also folks, the radio on the left and the right-hand side, it's not one side is the driver and the other side is the engineer. Just one side is the driver, and then once the radio carries on, it ends on the right side, and then, it finishes on the left and then just carries over to the right side. Yeah. I probably explained that pretty badly, actually. In terms of long run lap times between teammates here, folks, Russell 4/10 quicker than Antonelli on the previous run. Norris and Piastri, pretty much identical lap times. Leclerc and Hamilton, pretty much identical lap times. So, yeah, the Ferrari car's looking pretty good, and same thing for the McLarens. Norris is down there in 10th position, but he's got the race pace, which probably means he's got the qualifying pace, just didn't put a lap together earlier on in the session. And of course, he'll have an opportunity to do that a little bit later on when he puts on a set of soft tyres. Everyone gave me your Rookie of the Year. I answered that a little bit earlier on, I think, at the start of the stream, but I said Isaac Hadjar. However, Antonelli and Behrman and Bortoletto really aren't that far back. It's very, very close for Rookie of the Season this year. Okay. So, yes, the only drivers in the pits now, Isaac Hadjar, Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. So they'll be getting out onto the circuit very soon. And then, yes, Interlagos, quite the short circuit, actually. We've only got, I think it's only 4 kilometers long. 4.3 kilometers long is the total distance of the Interlagos circuit. So with 20 cars out on track, that only gives 200 meters for the drivers to have to themselves. If they're all evenly spaced out, approximately 200 meters or so for each driver, which means it's well, traffic is going to be a problem. We've seen it just before. Isaac Hadjar got blocked by Oscar Piastri, and we'll probably be seeing a little bit more of that as well, in Q1 especially. So the engineers will have to be on the top of their game and making sure to, well, keep the drivers out of harm's way. Is Max using soft tyres? No, Max is still out on hards. Sonoda, however, it says that he's on softs. However, I haven't actually seen a shot of him on the TV feed yet, so he may be out on hard tyres. How many laps does the race have? I think it is... I should know this, shouldn't I? It's either 71 or 78 or something. 71 laps of racing around here in Interlagos, yes. Okay, Sonoda is on soft. There we go. Thanks for the clarification there, folks. And, yeah, not the quickest lap time considering he's on soft tyres, but also he hasn't had that much practice. He was sat in the pits for the last 20 minutes or so, which makes sense. All right. Oh, is this Russell and Verstappen battling it out on track? I think they were having a little squabble on the circuit, and Russell ended up having to back out of it. Great to see Russell and Verstappen. Honestly, when those two go out onto the track, we've always got fireworks going off. It's quite incredible, actually, how much they sort of dislike each other, especially on the racetrack. I think Interlagos last year was 70 laps because we had Stroll crash on the formation lap and then we did an extra lap of racing. But in terms of actually normal race conditions, it'll be 71 laps. Yeah. May I know who's going to get pole? Well, my prediction, you know what? I'm just going to go with George Russell. I just think George Russell's going to do it. I think Verstappen, Piastri and Norris are going to focus quite significantly on making sure that the car's going to be good in wet and dry conditions. Russell, I think, might just decide, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to get pole position today and I'm not going to worry about the rain tomorrow. I hope I can just drive in wet conditions and we'll see how it goes. I think Russell's in with a shot, I think, but I don't really know. Russell, Verstappen, Piastri, all sort of up in the air. Let's wait for the soft tyre runs, right? Everyone's, as you can see, more than half the grid now is in the pits because they're all switching on to soft tyres. And once they're all switched onto the softs, we'll get the soft tyre runs and then I'll do my predictions. Is Russell mathematically still in the World Championship? Yes, he is. But, well, yes, technically he is. But at the end of the day, he's going to need like everyone DNFing right till the end of the race, right till the end of the season for that to happen. Will it rain on Sunday? Well, I have no way of knowing that. The forecast, I can tell you, does say that it is going to rain. It looks like, you can see there, Saturday, we've got thundery showers with a fresh breeze, and then on Sunday, it's just a light drizzle. There's like a 50% chance of a light drizzle at the race start, but that's most likely going to be intermediate conditions, not full wet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the FIA does not cancel it, but it's the FIA and they are very good at making very questionable decisions, to say the least. Also, another thing, the pit lane around the circuit does look quite long, actually. However, I would like to point out that the drivers are only going the 80 km/h pit lane speed limit from around about this point here on the circuit to this point here. The rest of the pit lane, the drivers can do whatever speed that they want to, which means that the drivers only lose 20 seconds overall of lap time when they come into the pits. Okay. Sonoda, Hülkenberg and Verstappen out on... Verstappen's still out on hards, actually. Interesting. I would have expected Max to come out on softs, but there we go. Isam Rauf for 30% chance of rain on Sunday. Thanks for the donation. Yeah, it says 30% on some websites, and then some other ones it says 50. So I guess we shall see. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can make our way towards 2,000 likes. It'd very much be appreciated. We've got 8,000 people tuning into the live stream, which is absolutely mega. Track temperature has gone up about 12 degrees since the start of the session. We started out at 34 maybe, or 35, and now we're up to 46. So track temperature's going up as we head towards sprint qualifying. F1 Gamer, how many subs are you projecting or hoping for the end of the season? Well, to be honest, I had a prediction saved, like, from the start of the season. I thought I would hit 200k right at the last race of the season. So, to be honest, it's gone quite well very early on. So, I would maybe 220 could be done. Yeah, 225 maybe. We'll see how it goes. I think 200k is a big enough thing, and 250, of course, would be the next sort of major one. That would be $250,000. $250,000 is sort of mind-blowing to think about, but we're still 40,000 subscribers away, so we'll see how that goes. That track improvement is starting. Yeah, the track has improved drastically, but look at that. You know, the lap times that we're seeing, of course, they're all on hard tyres, so I suspect once we go onto the softs, they're going to improve by pretty much a full second, but currently on the hard tyres, we can see that the drivers are doing around about a 1 minute 11. Then on the softs, we should probably see that dip to the 1 minute 10s, maybe 1 minute 9s. But compared to the lap record, which is a 1 minute 7.281 from Lewis Hamilton back in 2018, it's still quite the way off. Okay. 225 easy, the season will be cooking at the end. Yeah, I hope so. I have also said actually that I'd wear a full suit for if the last race of the season Norris, Verstappen or Piastri could win the championship, then I'm going to be wearing a full suit for the last race, and I'm going to start the stream like 3 hours early because, well, to be honest, that day I'm not even going to be able to sleep properly, so I might as well start the stream early. All right, 15 minutes remain, and as you can see, we're getting medium tyres, actually. That is actually very, very understandable. The reason for that is here in Interlagos, we have got a very short qualifying lap, and that results in the drivers during Q3, during Q2, not only doing just 2 runs, they could even do 3 flying laps. Typically, you know, at a circuit like, let's say, Spa, you got a very long lap, which means that in the 15-minute session, you can only do 2 flying laps. But in the 12-minute session here in Interlagos, because the circuit is so short, you can use soft tyres, and the teams want to save their soft tyres. It's, you know, critical thing number 1, save your soft tyres for qualifying. And they've only got 8 sets. And because they've only got 8 sets, they're like, right, well, we might as well use the mediums to do our sort of quali simulations and save the softs for when it actually matters. And I suspect that is the reason why we're getting the medium tyres instead of the softs, because the teams have only got 8 soft tyres. Oh my goodness me, Alex Albon, top of the times, a 111.004, 2/10 clear of George Russell. Very nice. Stroll's up there in 3rd as well. And yeah, the lap times are very much going to tumble now since we're on the medium tyres. But essentially, yeah, that's the reason why we're not seeing too many soft tyres, because the teams want to preserve them for SQ1, SQ2, SQ3, Q1, Q2, Q3. It sort of makes sense, doesn't it? All right, Hadjar up into 2nd position, Antonelli up into 4th, Russell's on a flying lap, he's purple through the middle sector. We have got some more, we got the McLarens out on medium, Russell across the line, 10th clear of Alex Albon, and top of the times for Mr. Saturday, looking good once again for George. Carlos Sainz, however, purple in the middle sector, he might be coming to spoil the fun. Indeed he is, a 10th clear of George Russell, good to see there from the smooth operator. 4th position for Oliver Behrman after scoring 4th position in Mexico 2 weekends ago. Great drive there from him. Best drive for Haas, best drive for Ollie Behrman. And, well, hopefully he can continue on that success. Esteban Ocon also purple in the middle sector, actually, so we'll see if he can match his teammate. Of course, last weekend there was quite the big gap. This weekend, not so much. Ocon up into second position. He's a 10th ahead of Ollie Behrman, and a great lap there from Esteban Ocon. All right. Then we've got the McLarens. They're doing their warm-up. They're on their out lap right now. They're going to start their flying lap very soon. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll starting their flying laps as well. Oh, no, sorry. Stroll's coming into the pit. Stroll's already done his laps. And yeah, here we go then. Final couple of drivers then. Well, bottom half of the grid, shall we say, is yet to do their flying laps. 11 minutes remain on the clock, folks. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We've got 8,000 people tuned into the live stream. I hope to see all of you around for sprint qualifying. As you can see, it starts in 3 hours and 5 minutes. So that is when we'll be expecting to see, yeah, sprint quali start. The mediums are goated. Yeah, the mediums are pretty good. I mean, the soft tyres will be even quicker than this, folks. And we will get in towards the 1-minute 9s, I suspect. Especially once we go into qualifying fuel loads, that's when things are really going to get very exciting. Piastri purple in the first sector. Norris 1/10 down. This is exactly what Oscar Piastri needs. This is exactly what was happening last weekend, where Norris would be 1/10 up in every single sector. Piastri makes his way through sector number 2. Quite a few purple mini sectors, but Norris also doing the same. Fernando Alonso, second position for him. It's Spanish 1-2. The Spanish fans rejoice once again. And 22 milliseconds off the back of Carlos Sainz. 1-2 for the Spanish drivers. Bortoleto up into third position as well. Brilliant job there from him. Of course, at his home Grand Prix as well, Piastri comes along, spoils the fun. 6/10 clear. Oh my goodness me. He was about to get into the 1-minute 9s on medium tyres, and purple in sector 1, 2, and 3. Here comes Lando Norris. He's 3/10 back. The roles have been reversed. The positions have been switched. And Piastri has gone from the attacked to the attacker. And, well, the championship fight is back on, ladies and gentlemen. With 9 minutes left to go, we may get one more flying lap from all of the drivers. And it's well, this is a good sign, isn't it, folks? Good sign. 3/10 gap between Piastri and Norris on the set of medium tyres. And, yeah, well, Piastri, of course, this weekend, last year, also wasn't great for him. I think he was barely in the points, maybe. I can't remember exactly, to be honest, but it was nothing remarkable from Oscar Piastri. And, well, we'll see if he can improve. I'm sure, he's spent so much time in the simulator looking for every single bit of performance he can. Nothing, of course, will match coming out onto the circuit in real life, but that extra little bit of practice, I'm sure, will have helped him out. So, and that's not to say Norris isn't practicing as well. Both of them will have been sat in the simulator as much time as they possibly could to get to grips with the circuit and to find as much lap time as they can. Why are the Ferrari still on the hards? It's the classic Ferrari strategy, to be honest. I think Ferrari aren't too concerned about their race pace. And to be honest, there's still 8 minutes left. Oh, sorry. They aren't too concerned about their quali pace. There's still about 8 minutes left or so. And they can very easily come into the pits, change tyres, and go again on mediums. All right. Hulkenberg, third position. Oh, my goodness me. Well, maybe another Hulkenberg podium. Wow. It's been pretty solid there from Hulk, 6/10. And let's have a look at the speed traps, actually. So, as I said a little bit earlier on, we did have the Ferrari team right at the bottom of the speed traps, probably around at the halfway point of the session. Is that still true? Do they have the pace despite being slow in the speed traps, or have they turned up their engines? Hulkenberg still in 14th position on the speed traps, not that quick. Ocon 16th, Behrman 17th, Hamilton 18th in the speed trap. Alonso is down there, and then Bortoletto's dead last. So, yeah, the Ferrari engine not all that quick this weekend, or most of the drivers running reasonably high downforce packages as well. So, Nico Hulkenberg, despite not having the quickest car in a straight line, is doing pretty solid. Okay, Max is still sat in the pits with 7 minutes left to go, and I suspect he'll be coming out pretty soon, but Norris is coming out onto the circuit, and so is Piastri, and I suspect that's just a little bit of a refuel, maybe his front wing angle change as well, and they'll be getting ready to go to go for their second flying laps of the session. The sun is finally present. Indeed it is. Track temperature has gone up now to 47 degrees Celsius. So a lot more track temperature than we had at the start of the session. Is that going to play into the McLaren's favour? Is that going to play into the Mercedes' favour? You know, I said about 10 minutes ago. Oh my God, I've just dropped my water bottle. I said about 10 minutes ago that maybe George Russell would be getting pole position. Doesn't look very likely now, does it? He's 7/10 off the pace on those medium tyres. And yeah, Antonelli's also not much better. He's 4/10 back. So I don't know about that one. Russell is going to have, maybe the temperature have gone up and Russell's no longer good, or maybe it's the medium tyres. But either way, we'll see what happens once we get closer to sprint quali. All right. What happened with Leclerc and Lewis? Everyone else has pretty much set a lap on soft tire or on medium tires. Sorry, Leclerc and Hamilton have not, and that is why they are down right there at the back of the pack. And you can see Max has neither done that as well. And so yeah, Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, all at the back because they haven't set medium tire laps, whereas everyone else has. So it makes sense, and that's the thing, you know, the field is so close now in Formula 1 this year that even switching from one tyre compound to the softer tyre compound is going to, even if you're the quickest cars or one of the quickest cars, you're still going to go right to the back of the pack. Whereas, you know, if you look back, let's say 2018, 2019, even if the Mercedes were on slower tyres, they would still be quicker than, you know, the Hasses or the Alfa Romeos at the time. And yeah, I think it's quite a good thing, really, that we've got such closely fought competition in Formula 1. And that's why we've got these surprise podiums as well. You know, some team slips up, sometimes there's rain, sometimes there's crashes, and Hülkenberg can get a podium, so can Sainz, so can Hadjar. Like, it's been quite brilliant. Okay. Max is out on a set of softs. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. All right. Piastri purple in the middle sector again, looking solid. Norris tries to go quicker than Piastri. He still can't in the first sector. We'll see what he can do in the middle sector. Piastri now coming out the final corner, foot flat to the floor, just hugging the inside line. What can he do? Across the line. Purple in sector 2 and 3, and he goes quicker by an extra tenth of a second. He dips down into the 1 minute 9s as well, a 1 minute 9.998 from Oscar Piastri. And, well, on those soft tyres, it's going to be going even lower. Lando Norris, again, 2.5 tenths back now. He improves a little bit, goes quicker in the final sector, which is a good improvement there. Obviously, got a better exit out of turn number 12. And that has brought him a little bit closer to his teammate, but still the gap, 1/4 of a second. Okay. Are the Ferraris going to come out on soft tyres? It really doesn't look like it. It's now or never. If Hamilton doesn't come into the pits now, it's unlikely that he is going to be doing a soft tyre run. He doesn't. Hamilton continues on. We'll see what Leclerc does. But only 3 minutes left on the clock. It's going to be pretty tight if they do want to do a soft tyre run. It seems a bit odd. I mean, these drivers, you know, Leclerc and Hamilton, pretty experienced around this circuit. They've driven it quite a few times. Hamilton's got wins here quite a few times, in fact. So they don't necessarily need to get into the rhythm and the flow of things in preparation for quali. But, you know, it would be a nice thing to do. The other thing, of course, is that you can see now all of the teams have got only 3 sets of medium tyres, okay? So they have got 3 sets of mediums. What now? Everyone, apart from Red Bull and Ferrari, have used their medium tyres, at least one of them, which means now going into the sprint race and the actual race, those 3 sets, one of them are going to be compromised and they're going to be slightly slower. So, you know, you could use it in the sprint tomorrow, but you're going to have 6 lap, 7 lap old tyres to start the race on, whereas the Ferraris and the Red Bulls are going to be on fresh mediums. So a little bit of a trade-off, but then, of course, Max Verstappen, by using soft tyres now, he's going to have 1 less set of soft tyres to use during sprint quali or to use during the sprint race. So, or during the actual qualifying session as well. So it's a trade-off. I guess the Ferraris and the Red Bulls think that it's a smart choice to use the softs or just not to use them whatsoever. It doesn't look like Leclerc and Hamilton are doing soft tyre runs. And Red Bull think it's better off to use the soft tyres. Max is out of the pits though. He was out on the soft tyres, actually. And, oh, Max, come on, man. He came into the pits. They're hiding their pace, folks. So I'll quickly just put this together for you guys. The theoretical best lap time. So if Max Verstappen had his best Sector 1, best Sector 2, and best Sector 3, he would put himself up into 7th position. I think 7th position or maybe 8th position. Yeah, 8th position is where Max would go. He aborted his flying lap on his soft tyres. But you do also have to take into account his final sector exit of turn number 12, which is very, very important, was done on a set of hard tyres, which was done on a set of softs, but he wasn't pushing. So that final sector time is not very representative. So I suspect he'll be close. As quick as Piastri, though, it's a bit difficult to tell right now. So Max has got pace, but clearly doesn't want to reveal all of it, and they're just playing a little bit of games right now. Antonelli improves up into 8th position, good to see there. Even on 9-lap-old medium tyres, can still go up into 8th position, so good to see from Antonelli. And, well, we'll see if Russell can get closer. Typically, Russell's a bit quicker than Antonelli. He is on this occasion as well, a 10th quicker, and it's 6th position for George Russell. Still, though, 6/10ths back from Oscar Piastri. And Piastri's just gone purple again. This is 7-lap-old medium tyres, ladies and gentlemen. 7-lap-old medium tyres. Admittedly, the fuel load probably is going down, but still. Oh, yellow flag. Who's that? Hamilton. Oh, no. Yellow flag. Okay, never mind. It's been cleared up. I think Hamilton went off the circuit there. But for a moment there, I was like, Hamilton has crashed right at the end of FP1, which would have meant the Ferrari mechanics would have 3 hours to repair the car. That, however, is not the case. Hamilton has continued on, and he's making his way back to the pits. Yeah, now is probably the worst time to crash. And here comes Oscar Piastri. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. He goes 0.5 slower, but still good consistency there from Oscar Piastri. And of course, his tyres are a little old as well. We'll see what Norris can do. He improves in the first sector compared to his previous lap time, but still a 10th off Oscar Piastri. He is now again a 10th slower in the middle sector, and we'll see what he can do in the final sector, where he is currently the fastest out of all drivers. Yeah. All right, here comes Lando Norris. Oh my goodness me, what a final sector he's just had. Really, really good pace in the final sector, and he goes 23 milliseconds clear of Oscar Piastri. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the championship fight is back on 1 point between the two rivals, and they are 23 milliseconds apart. Brilliant, great to see. And, well, sprint qualifying is happening in 2 hours and 53 minutes, as you can see there up on the screen. And we're getting the final few runs coming in now. I think everyone has actually done their final run. And they are all now just going to do their starting grid start. Yeah, the yellow flag is sorry, not the yellow flag. The checkered flag is waving. And yeah, that's it. Quickly, just another point I'd like to say. If you hook up Oscar Piastri's perfect sector time, so he goes he hooks up all of his best sectors, he is still 0.2 quicker than Lando Norris. But of course, Piastri wasn't able to do that. He wasn't able to put all 3 of his best sectors together on a single flying lap, which means that still some more work to do. But theoretically, Piastri has the raw pace. But we're here in FP1. We'll find out what happens in 3 hours' time in sprint qualifying. Max Verstappen's in P17. He's clearly trying to give us a bit of deja vu from last year, where he started in P17 and won the race. So let's see what happens for Max. But folks, that has been all from me. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys for Free Practice 1. One thing I'd like to quickly reiterate, if you could, there's a link in the description to a Formula 1 survey about sponsorships. Someone who is a member of the channel, watches the channel quite regularly, has reached out to me. They need a survey being answered for their master's thesis about Formula 1 sponsors. It would be very, very helpful, guys, if you guys could answer that. You don't need to put any of your personal details in, and it'll take about 3 minutes. So if you guys are interested, there's a link in the description for that one. But that's all from me. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. The sprint quali stream will be starting in 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. And yeah, hope to see you then. All right. So yeah, hit the like button for the sprint quali stream, hit the reminder button, and I'll see you in 2 hours' time. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah. All right. Oh, I'll quickly just read out the standings for anyone that's listening to this like a radio. We got Norris first, Piastri second, Hulkenberg third, Alonso fourth, Bortoleto fifth, Russell sixth, Gasly seventh, Sainz eighth, Hadjar ninth, Antonelli 10th, Lawson 11th, Albon 12th, Ocon 13th, Behrman 14th, Stroll 15th, Colapinto 16th, Verstappen 17th, Leclerc 18th, Hamilton 19th, and Tsunoda 20th. But the final 4 drivers, they didn't go out and put together a proper lap on soft tyres. Okie dokes, bye-bye.